Hi everyone, today we will be learning how to use the Math Web 2.0 tool called DESMOS. You may be asking yourself, why are we using an online software in a math classroom? And what are the benefits of using it? Well, the answer is fairly simple. These softwares allow lessons to be more fun and engaging. They also help us incorporate more technology while we learn. These tools allow us to do a number of things that can be very valuable to the content we learn in any class, especially in math. As our class textbook, Developing Content Area Literacy, states, providing unique content on assessment, differentiated instruction, technology, and reflective practice is designed to help busy teachers meet the challenge of addressing the literacy needs of all students. So let's get started. Desmos is a free online software that can be used by any person. It makes it convenient for students to access a tool like this in any of their online resources, whether it's during class or whether it's at home. So in class, we can use them with our tablets or iPads, laptops, or class computers. The teacher can also have this tool displayed on the overhead so that the class can see. Okay, so first we're going to begin to learn a little bit more about what Desmos offers. So I'll click Learn More. Desmos includes a graphing calculator, 4-function feature, adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, a scientific calculator, geometry beta, classroom activities that have already been made and you can incorporate in your own teaching, create your own activity, request PD, and PD bags. There are a number of classroom activities such as videos, interactive graphs that we can use in our teaching. And then I wanted to emphasize on the create your own activity feature, because if we were to cover any word problems or if we wanted to incorporate math journals into any class, this feature would be helpful for a teacher to create those journals or problems so that students can work on their reading in a math classroom. Now I will go back to the home page and we will begin the demo for how to use the Desmos graphing feature. So to access this, all we have to do is log in to desmos.com like this. Once we get to this page, we click the red button, Start Graphing. Okay, so this is a graph function. We have basically like a calculator here to plug in our numbers, plug in our variables, any signs that we want to work with, such as like if we're doing inequalities, we have less than, greater than, less than, or equal to, and greater than or equal to. And then we have add, subtract, multiply, divide, and functions. So to begin, if I wanted to draw any graph, then all I have to do is click on the first box and type it in. So let's say I wanted to graph a circle, and I know that the equation of the circle is x squared plus y squared is equal to 4. Then it will graph it automatically for me once I press enter when I'm done writing my equation. And now I have my circle here. I know that, for example, if we're evaluating the center, I can easily identify my center as the origin, 0, 0. And I can see that the radius is 2 points away from the origin. And then we also have the freedom, like let's say I wanted to include another feature, to label things. So I can label the origin 0, 0. I type in my coordinate 0, 0, and then I check the box here that says show label, so I can write a name for it. So I can say origin 0, 0. And now, as you can see, it appears right here in my graph. Okay. I can do the same thing if I wanted to identify points on the circle. Like let's say I wanted to say -2, 0 was one of the points in the circle. And I can also label it so it can appear just like that. Okay. I can also graph a line. Let's say I say y equals 2x plus 1. And as you can see, it's the purple line right here. And I can take it off by clicking the designated line to make it appear and disappear. This can be done with pretty much any type of graph. Circles, lines, parabolas, hyperbolas, ellipses, any expression you can graph on here. You can also include expression notes, table, folder, and you can even include an image that you upload if you'd like. Desmos also allows you. We can also use like pre-made examples. Let's say we're learning about transformations, for example. Then we can click the example, let's say the first one, translating a function. And if we want to see this graph, then all we have to do is click Open Graph. And it will lead us directly to the graph that is provided for that example. And we can see the equation here, the two equations, f of x and g of x, that develop this graph. And we can move them around because it was already pre-made to have this function. Same thing with some more simple examples like lines, slope-intercept form. And open the graph. As you can see, the line is provided. I can experiment with this when I'm learning, let's say we're covering slope. Then we can change our slope so we can see how it affects the steepness of the line. As you can see, like for example, students can examine how when we go to the left, when we get a negative value as a slope, our line is pointing the opposite direction. We're going up as we go to the left, and we're going down as we go to our right. But then if we move our slope to a positive value, it flips over again. They can also experiment with the y-intercept form. So as you can see, it's pretty neat to see the different features that it gives for us. This can be done with many topics: lines, parabolas, trig, conic sections, polar, transformations, parametric, and even in calc. Okay. I know here it says to create an account, but this graphing tool can be used without creating an account. Creating an account is fairly simple, just requires name, email, password. This is typically helpful when we want to save our information. But let's say I have this line that I've been studying in a lesson, and I want students to create a graph for a project, and I want them to print it out and cut it up and put it on their poster. Then it's fairly simple. They have to go up here where it says share paragraph, share graph. And there's a couple options. They can print it right away, they can embed, and they can export. Export actually provides a copy of this graph into your documents. And we can choose how thin we want the line to be, or if we want it to be thicker. And the size as well. Small, medium, large, medium, large. And then once we decide, as it tells us here, what we have to do is right click and we can save into our downloads or just save it in our documents. So I'll give an example. Let's say I want to save it to my downloads. I go to my downloads and I open my most recent download. And now I have the image of the graph. And I can print it or save it, copy and paste it into another document. Okay. So as you can see, Desmos is a pretty easy tool to use for any students, pretty much of any age, but it would be most helpful for kids in middle school or high school. It will help in any areas of math that involve graphing, but if we go back to the homepage, we can also, like I said before, create activities other than graphing, such as a math journal, right, like we talked about before, to create activities, lessons, anything that allows students to learn in math classrooms. And all you have to do is go here, create an activity, and make sure for the teacher activity function, we have to develop an account and we will have access to it. Again, here are the ones that are provided from like the online source. They're already developed. We can, let's say we want to cover inequalities. Then we press inequalities, provides us with a variety of activities we can incorporate in our classroom, such as inequalities on a number line. We click it, and it gives us what the activity would look like, what students would see in the different slides. Again, these would be accessible through the creation of an account. It's also neat that we can use this online tool through the App Store or Google Play. So students will have a variety of access forms to this online tool. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something today.